We're live.
For the millions of adoring fans. And Marcus.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can you hear me okay, or do I need to move my microphone? Better? All right. Call to order here. I am Kathy Weir. I'm acting as deputy mayor in the absence of our mayor, Jennifer Arsenault, who is not available this evening. Can we put a motion to approve the agenda or have any additions or changes? I do have one addition. We had a cooperative agreement between the city of Birchwood and Washington County for construction costs of crack sealing. You were wanting to talk about that one a little bit, or no? I'm just adding it to the agenda right now.
Yeah, I was planning on it being on February, so it could be.
Oh,
We snuck it in.
I can add it here, or do you want to save it?
No, that's not.
Okay. So I'm going to put it as number 4 then, for under city business?
It would be F under consent if you want, or you can put it on.
Oh, okay. Did everyone get a chance to peek at that, where they're okay with it going under consent agenda?
It's only to be consistent, so if you wanted to make it part of B, which is discussion of the road plan approval,
Oh, we'll do that.
Marcus can just highlight it there.
Perfect. We'll put it under B then.
Okay.
Any other additions, changes, things to
Can we,
pull out?
can we pull the variance out of the consent agenda?
Okay.
I don't, yeah, okay.
And that's
Normally
E.
what we would do is just approve it, and then when you get to consent, we can pull it.
We don't do that right now?
You don't have to, I mean, unless you want to just move it into city business, but it would be technically pulled and discussed anyway if we pull it from consent.
Okay, pull it from consent. Do we wait to the consent agenda, voting on the consent agenda, then do it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then you discuss it, and then you
Okay.
can take action on it specifically.
Perfect.
All right. Any other changes to the agenda? Okay. So can I have a motion to approve as edited?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right. Let's see, we have a presentation. We have Paul Burr here from the Department of Natural Resources. Just do that right over there. Perfect. He is a DNR big game specialist. We had asked him to come to discuss the DNR's recommendations for large game after our deer mitigation contract has expired with the Minnesota bow hunting. That's from 10 years ago, for sure. From our bow hunting contract, and we wanted to discuss the DNR's recommendations for controlling deer population. Hello, Paul. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to finally make it. I work with the Minnesota DNR in the big game program, and we are tasked with managing the state's big game species, and that mostly involves deer management. How we do that is through regulations and bag limits. So we assess habitat, populations, social acceptance, environmental acceptance of deer population herds. And then we set bag limits based on those and what people and stakeholders want to see. We don't manage within municipal boundaries. We leave that to the municipal entities, whether it's, city governments. But we do offer recommendations, and we do work with you folks if deer management is an issue. So it sounds like you guys have had a pretty successful 5 years of hunting with the Metro Bowhunters Resource Base. I think they're like a 7 county within the metro area. They do all sorts of hunting, deer management. They're a great resource. A lot of folks outside the metro area, when I say folks, I mean other cities, don't have a group like this to fall back on. Usually it rests on their shoulders as a city government to manage, organize, get people to hunt. So having this group in your pocket and do all the work for you is great. I just want to emphasize that as as a great tool. So it takes a lot of work, time and logistics off the city. It sounds like you're not sure if you want to continue to do the city hunt, for one reason or another. But also it sounds like I've heard there's some issues with too many deer in the area. Is that kind of true, what you guys are hearing?
Yep.
Okay. So as a DNR, if your goal or if you're having issues with too many deer, whether that be vehicle strikes, property damage, garden damage, the best tool that we have to manage populations is through hunting. Now in a crowded area like this, where you have homes and issues and parks and people walking dogs, bow hunting is gonna be your primary, season. And obviously for a safety standpoint too. So, you know, from a DNR perspective, for me personally, I would recommend you keep doing this, especially if deer management is an issue. Populations go unchecked for long enough, deer become habituated to people. A lot of these issues that you're probably facing now are just gonna get worse. Deer are gonna get overpopulated. And it could lead to other things like habitat degradation, deer health issues, things like that. So I'll be happy to take any questions that you have, for me, but just overall, I would recommend you continue hunting.
Yeah, I'll give you my email address in a second, but I was wondering if you could send me a summary of all relevant research stating that a town similar to Birchwood of a third of an acre of size, with neighbors on both sides that don't conduct a deer hunt anywhere near our borders. I would just like to get a summary of a handful of papers that basically state that a deer hunt in Birchwood makes more than a marginal impact vis-a-vis the negative impacts of deer in the city.
Okay. I can try digging some of those up. I don't know if there's gonna be much for the scientific literature out there.
Okay,
A lot of it's probably anecdotal. But the fact that if you're removing antlerless deer off the landscape, you're removing males off the landscape, but also the potential down the line for them to reproduce as well.
I'm not particularly interested in anecdotal data. I want to see specific scientific data applicable to Birchwood, so whatever you can send.
Okay.
So I can review, and then I think when we evaluate this in the spring, we can either say there aren't studies supporting effective deer management in Birchwood, and if there are, then we can, baseline our metrics and the management going forward based on those studies. I'd appreciate that, and it's real simple. It's ryan.hankins@cityofbirchwood.com. I'd appreciate it very much.
I can see what I can dig up.
Thank you.
The specifics you're asking for, like town size in relation to not hunting on the outside, I doubt I'll be able to find something that specific, but I'm sure there's studies out there just dealing in general with city hunts and its impact.
I think what we need and what we're trying to understand is it's a third of an acre, and does it work?
Okay, yeah, I'll dig into the research and see what I can find for you.
Okay.
I do know when you're talking about densely populated areas like this, you're looking at something like deer home ranges. They're pretty condensed into small areas, but obviously they can move around. So if you're worried about, hey, we removed 10 deer here, what's from keeping more deer from coming in from areas that don't harvest deer? I understand that concern, and I'll see what I can dig up from the
Thank you.
research.
What is the metropolitan deer population? So, like, where would I find the information for, I guess, the greater White Bear Lake area? Like, what's the deer population? And how do you guys, like, calculate that? Because I'll tell you the truth, I find myself kind of, 50-50 on this issue. Makes me uncomfortable with bow hunters in the neighborhood with kids running around.
Sure.
But I also don't want to see deer starve to death in the neighborhood as well. I think that's cruel. So it's hard for me, like, I don't even really know the problem per se. But I don't know how many deer there are. Like, when's a deer population become a nuisance? Or when's it become to the point where these deer are going to starve because there's not enough resources for them to sustain themselves?
Sure, great question. To start off with the deer population as a whole, I can't tell you a number what the density deer per square mile is in the area, especially in the Twin Cities area. We have flown surveys in the past, so that's probably gonna be your best estimate, but those are few and far between. They're expensive, and difficult to do, and the deer are always changing, so we don't have a good grasp on, hey, this is the number of deer in this area. We use a variety of other tools, a lot of public input, harvest data, hunter success, things like that we can track on an annual basis. We also have a mathematical model that our research group takes care of, so it at least tracks the trend over time, or is it increasing, decreasing, staying the same. And then, of course, we have a lot of boots on the grounds, local area experts that we rely on, even if we get reports on a lot of vehicle collisions or a lot of deer damage, if those cases are increasing, decreasing. So overall, we look at trends, because that's the best we can do, really, with such a large area. And as far as when does it become a problem, that's gonna be a lot more reliant probably on you guys and what you're hearing from the citizens. If complaints are going up with damage to property or vehicle collisions are going up, that's gonna be indicative of an issue for you and the citizens financially. And then you're talking about carrying capacity of the environment. When's the population gonna hit a point where they're running out of food and they're starving to death? That is a very loaded question. You have to do a pretty big assessment of, what do they have to eat in the area? How many mouths are needing to be fed? What kind of forage, what kind of nutrition's on the landscape? So, in a place like this that's pretty small, I don't know exactly what you have as far as green space. Other than looking on the map, it looks like there's quite a bit of green space. So, getting a good grasp on how many deer you have and matching that to what's in the environment that they can utilize, that's a whole nother question.
In your experience, is there any other viable options other than a hunt to control the population, like deterrence? Or I know when we had a bear here, we just yanked the bird feeders and the bear went away. You know what I mean? So is it something like that, an educational thing where it's like, okay, well, deer don't like these plants, don't plant these in your yard?
Yeah, there are plants that I guess you'd say deer resistant, that I've heard very conflicting results about. I've seen pictures of people saying, hey, I planted this and they're gone the next day. It all kind of depends on the deer, and especially if it's a hard winter, there's not much to eat, they'll eat just about anything. You can build fences around your gardens, but it's, if you have an ordinance against overly high fences, which some cities do, that's not an option. There's always hazing. There's motion activated sprinklers that kind of work, I guess, at first. But overall, deer become habituated, become used to all sorts of scare tactics, and there's sprays that are supposed to smell bad to them that might be effective for a little bit, but generally are less effective the longer you use them. So education is a good one. Trying to think, we have deer feeding and attractant bans in some counties. I'm not sure, what county are we in, Washington?
We're in Washington.
Early.
County? I have to look, but that's another thing. It's related to disease concerns about.
We're not supposed to feed the deer.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So that's an
Whether or not that
education one, but a lot of folks do with unintentionally with bird feeders. So unfortunately, if there's deer in the neighborhood and they've got good habitat and they feel safe, they're going to kind of be a problem. There's been larger studies done where folks have come in, darted deer, put them to sleep, actually fix them so they can't reproduce to hopefully keep the population down. They found that that's not a long-term viable option. It might work in the very, very short term, but it usually just causes problems down, and it's very expensive. If deer become a big enough problem where hunting doesn't work, the next step would be culling, so sharpshooting. Some cities in the greater Twin Cities area, they contract with the USDA Wildlife Services folks who deal with wildlife damage and conflict. And so I don't know how much they pay them, but they'll come in and they'll actually sharpshoot them at night with thermal scopes. They'll bait them. Because if your deer population becomes such an issue where hunting can't work, that's kind of the next huge step where, you know, this is pretty drastic, but this is what is next, essentially.
Any other questions for Paul while he's here?
We do have a number of cities. So when cities do hunts within their boundaries, as long as they're within the larger confines of the deer season, like the DNR doesn't need to get involved per se. We offer technical guidance and assistance. But some cities do what we call special hunts, where it might be a different bag limit, you know, or allow different weapon types, stuff like that. And those are what we call special hunts. We track those because we have to. With these types of hunts where you guys go to a third party like Metro Bow Hunters, we don't necessarily know all those that have happened, but it's very common, especially in the Twin Cities. Just so you're aware, it's not like you guys are one of maybe a handful. It's pretty much every city has got deer damage to a certain extent that vary in all sorts of size, from really tiny to really big, and varying levels of success, so.
Is there a target number for deer in this area? And do we know where we are against that target number?
That's a great question. I can tell you, we don't know where you are as far as density, just because that would require some kind of survey, either aerial or maybe using cameras. But there is, and forgive me, I can look this up, but there is a density that we would recommend that would be, yeah, that would be kind of be ideal. And it can't come to me at the moment, but I can send that to Kathy when I find it, if you can shoot for this many deer per square mile or per acre, that's kind of the golden spot to be.
But, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way for us to really tell before.
Yeah, you can do your own surveys that don't have to be very rigorous. That can be kind of just observational even. So you are a pretty small community, land size at least, and I'm sure you have a good idea where the deer are. So even doing something like driving routes at the same time of day for a few weeks, you could probably get a very good understanding of just how many deer are in the area, you know, plus or minus. You know, when we work with cities developing hunt plans, we ask that they try to estimate deer in some way, and so something very simple like that will suffice. Even if you have like good, well, I'm gonna say vehicle collisions can be kind of a way to estimate in a roundabout way, but doing something like just driving surveys, or if you guys have people working out in the parks, having them kind of mark down how many deer they see at while they're out there.
This might be a dumb question, but do you guys have training on how to perform a survey?
We don't have training, but we do. The local area wildlife staff, the manager, her name's Allie. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, and she's only been here about a year, so she's relatively new to the process. But we do offer that kind of guidance, and it's kind of situational based on the city you're in and how big it is. So something like a city like this, I think doing a very simple survey would be pretty easy.
And you could give us a target number for number of deer that would be appropriate for our city?
Yeah, based on the green space that's available, and just kind of the layout.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be helpful, thank you.
Could give you definitely. I know I can see it in my head, it's something like per acre of green space, you want this many deer. I just can't recall it. Yeah, we can provide you something like that to shoot for.
Okay, thanks.
I do know when the prior year to when the deer hunt started, I had on my Ring camera 22 in my yard.
That's
So
insane,
There's
yeah.
a lot more, or a lot fewer now that I have seen there, but I do know that deer tend to avoid places that get hunted over time.
Yes, that's another thing, is they don't become, there's that mortality risk that they associate with humans, so they don't get too
And
comfortable.
with the area that they were hunted, so they avoid
Yeah.
that area. But Any other questions, comments, details?
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think you got my email, or at least
I
my
do.
phone number.
Yes.
So feel free to reach out to Kathy or Kathy can give you my contact info if you have any questions and, yeah,
Excellent.
happy to be here, so.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
for the
Great,
time.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our city business, actually, I'm going to open, do we have anyone here for public comments? No. All right,
Rushing the mic.
all right, I'm going to close public comments then. I don't see that on here, but I think we were supposed to do it, right? Okay.
Oh, there's nobody. We can hear Joe. I assume you're just here for your variance, Joe. Yeah, then,
Yes, he is here for the variance. All right, then we have the Halls Marsh MOA discussion and suggested edits.
Good grief, sorry.
okay,
I don't know
so,
why it's doing that.
I'm not sure if I need to tee that up, but just to bring us up to today, last week, we had agreed that we would make some amendments known to Rice Creek, and Member Hankins was going to send in his suggestions, so I've cut them whole cloth and appended them to the agenda. And so those are how I got them, and I don't know, Ryan, do you want, those are basically.
yeah, I mean, the 1 and 2 were mine. I think number 3 was what was Kathy's suggestion. And I think, I think the goal is, before we move forward with discussions with Rice Creek, so that the council is kind of speaking with one voice, that we adopt some suggestions that are hopefully kind of agreeable to most or all of the council.
And if they are non-controversial, mayor and staff, or mayor and council, I just put a motion in here approving and directing staff to send a letter with those edits to Rice Creek and just say this is what we'd like to see, and that would form the
Yep.
basis of any discussion, so.
So I will move the motion that as printed in the agenda.
And direct staff to send a letter?
And direct staff to send a letter, it says present the following to Rice
Rice Creek,
Creek.
okay.
So, yeah. Is there, need a second on that, so.
Does anyone want to second that?
Is it,
Would you like some discussion quick?
you discuss
Okay.
this real quick. Kathy, this is, I know you're the one that worked on this. We talked last week.
Yep.
This is what you understand these changes to be. We're all good?
Yeah, if they agree to it, that'd be great.
Second.
Okay.
Second?
All right, well, I'm glad. It's nice to, I think this is, thank you for your work, Kathy. I know we got a little contentious.
And we all want the best for the city, so it works out.
So, all right, well, I appreciate that. I thought this might be more contentious than it was tonight, so, okay, I'm glad to hear that, so, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that. Okay,
The only thing I'm wondering if they will push back is, because we had requested an annual report, I'm wondering if we would need to tell them that anytime someone's doing something in the marsh, we would like to be notified, but I think that was kind of implied.
I think they would have to anyway, so.
Okay, so then as.
We'll
maybe
hammer
that's
that
it.
out. I mean, we're a long way,
Yeah.
we're at the point of making sure that perfect doesn't get in the way of good enough, and
Yeah.
so that's where we're at. And so this is gonna start the next discussion, it's not the end of the discussion.
Okay.
So it's good to get past this part. So,
Okay. Marcus, did you have a chance to look at those edits and
the
was there?
agenda? Yeah.
Okay. And they looked fine to you? Okay.
does that, Marcus, seem to you like something Rice Creek might accept? So you don't know, okay.
I don't know, I guess.
Well, we'll see,
We'll just do our best.
okay.
I mean, at this point, I mean, they've been very reasonable, and so if it is reasonable, I don't see what they would say, but
I would hope they'd approve.
we'll get there.
Good.
We'll see. All right. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Let's see. The next thing we have on here is the consent agenda.
Oh, yes,
Yes, I know we were pulling E
yeah.
for you. And then we were adding the cooperative agreement between the city of Birchwood and Washington County for construction costs of crack ceiling. Because that's not in the packet, I'd like to pull B as well, just to have a quick overview for that. Anything else for A, C, or D? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda then? For A, C, and D?
So moved.
Okay, just a question, sorry. So for the approval of a December 2025 treasurer's report, Marcia, are you here to give us an overview of the agenda? Is that part of this?
She's here, and if you want, we can pull the
Should we pull
treasurer's
that so
report.
that we can discuss?
Yes.
I would
Okay.
like to talk to Marcia a little bit,
Yes.
part of that or not.
Perfect,
Yeah,
okay. So
okay.
yes, I was thinking you were maybe going to discuss later, but okay, we'll pull that out as well. So A and C we got going on for consent agenda. Can we change your
Ryan is still comfortable with that?
So moved.
All right.
second for that?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right. So A and C are approved. First one on here is B, that is you, Marcus.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry to spring this on you last minute. I got this 2 hours ago. So in summary of what you're looking at is the county came forward with their final quantities, and they're getting ready to send this out for bid. Summary, it's the county, Birchwood Village, Gray Cloud Island, and Stillwater Township that's going to be involved in this. Birchwood's would be 3% of the project, or $21,983 is what they're expecting it to be. When they get the numbers back from the bids, they'll reconvene and give us updated numbers of what that is, but the final numbers won't be reflected until the project's done.
Okay.
So out of that number includes a police officer on standby, following the project, traffic control, the street sweeping of those streets that we're working on, which, for a refresher, is all of Cedar / Hall Court, White Pine and both cul-de-sacs, J Street, and then part of Birchwood Ave, going up the hill on the right side, or north of J Street.
You said street sweeping, does that include the vacuum of the storm sewers?
No.
That's separate, right?
Separate, yeah. So that's different from this contract.
Okay.
With the cooperative agreement, county is covering all of the construction costs and admin costs. They're doing it themselves, so, and Birchwood Village is 3% of the project. It doesn't even pay for them to split it up. So you'll see that in the agreement. And Birchwood should just, will have to pay 30 days within the receipt. That is the quick summary of it.
What was the cities you said were involved again?
Yeah, it's
Just curious.
Gray Cloud, I think it said.
Cloud Island.
Gray Cloud Island, and then Stillwater Township.
So us plus two more?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So we're at 3%. Gray Cloud's at 1.5%, and then Stillwater Township's at 1.7%.
Is that not in the documents I have here? I didn't see it. I just got it,
They
though,
sent me
so-
3 documents. I'm not sure which one you
That's
guys.
fine. It's not that. I'm just kind of curious.
So we don't have to technically approve this. They're hoping to get it in the February's meeting,
It's the last.
but if we want to, we could tentatively approve based on, or with, like,
This is
You guys can-
similar to what it was last year, too.
we didn't, as long as I've been in the city, we haven't done this.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's the one we
Okay.
did. Where we split up with a bunch of cities for road work. Didn't we have one?
We've been talking about this one for a while, maybe.
Seal.
It could have been with, when they worked on like County Road E,
Oh, okay.
down, by the lake there. Like,
And I assume, Marcus, your opinion is that this is a good deal.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be the cheapest we're gonna see.
Cheapest is what I like to hear.
The only downfall with the county is that you pay, prevailing wage, which is a little bit more expensive, but you save yourself in other ways, so.
Because it's split up between different communities,
Yep.
right? Okay. Any questions other than that on Marcus?
Budget-wise, I mean, we're $100 less than what I expected, so that's,
Yay, cost savings.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're not expecting more. When we get bids back, we still won't be out for bid, so if we need to pull some of our scope to account for that, I don't expect that to happen, but we have time and whatnot.
And this isn't a hurry. I got it while I was in court, so I added it because Mark
Yeah.
said, could you add it to the agenda? I might have missed the February part because it came in 2 emails.
Yep.
But if you're not comfortable, we can just.
We can always-
vote on what was there, but.
We'll be here next month too, so
It seems like a good deal for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
It's hard to beat these guys.
Yeah,
honestly.
right.
It's a cooperative thing.
Yeah.
yep.
Get it through before the mayor comes back. Well, I will move. What do I have to move?
Are we just agreeing to the agreement?
Move to adopt the corporate agreement between the city of Birchwood and Washington County for construction cost of crack ceiling.
And what I've done, and if you want to just move this, is just to move consent agenda item B, because I've technically added that agreement to that.
Oh, to the revised road plan? We were good with the road plan, yes?
'Cause it's still part of your CIP, it's still part of your 26 plan.
So I don't have to do anything, just,
You just have to move the consent agenda item B.
To approve that.
I move to approve consent agenda item B
As amended.
as amended.
There you go.
Thank you.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? So passed. Okay, do we have anything else that requires, oh, you
that's
want to
it.
stick around for the variance here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Okay.
good.
It should be not too long here. Do you mind if we move treasurer after the variance? Okay, let's go ahead and move to E then, so we can let Marcus and Joe, right? Go, so, we have the approval ratification of variance as recommended by the Planning Commission for the building at 131 Wildwood. Brian, did you have specific questions you wanted this one for?
I need a refresher on this thing, because I saw this in the agenda, and and Alan, you're gonna have to help me out. I'm on paternity leave, a little sleep deprived still. Okay, when we initially talked about this, we did a setback variance, right? And we granted all the variances, and the garage was separate from the structure. Okay. Now, you're building a breezeway? Or you want to build a breezeway? And then now it's an attached garage.
And as I understand it, because it's all attached, it becomes an attachment to the principal structure.
Sure.
As opposed to a truly detached structure. And of course, that kind of changes everything. And so belt and suspenders says you go back and you get variances
Yep.
for the different request. And so that's what's back before you and was back before the Planning Commission.
Okay. So, we granted the variances for the home and a setback for the garage initially. And just help me walk through this mentally here. And then there's a different height code for a garage in the property unless they're attached? Or is that,
Well, the principal thrust of this is to let everyone know what the variances are for. And so, sure, you can say, well, it's attached and the same thing would apply, but, you know, the variances were granted for a different build. And so this is coming back and saying, hey, we're doing it differently, so it's essentially the same series of variances. You still can't exceed the height of the principal structure, which I don't, and Mr. Galodowitz is here to answer
Yep.
all those questions.
Yep.
And there are some things missing out of the design elements because he's not there yet. You know, these variances are basically consistent with what you did before.
Yep.
It's just based on a slightly different build, and you can ask him what his intentions are, but that's what the PC considered too.
and the reason I ask this is because I get hung up on like, okay, like you rip down a garage, you can do one-to-one replacement. If you're gonna do something different, now you have to, there's a different legal requirement for that. And so we granted a variance for the setback of the garage. But now by making it attached, it now just falls under the principal residence, right? I guess where I'm going at this is I don't think that there was anything when we initially reviewed this. Correct me if I'm wrong, like if I'm wrong about any of this stuff. Like I said, I'm a little,
No worries, yeah.
saying how tall the garage was gonna be, how tall the house was gonna be. I know the garage that there was previously was pretty small, right? My only worry is now it's one property. We didn't really know what it was gonna look like when we initially did it. Now it's attached. Now instead of a small garage, you can build a big garage without us really knowing initially. So it's not that I necessarily have a problem with any of this. It's like when we're doing this stuff initially, it's almost like we need like more plans to look at.
Hallelujah.
Grant variance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say,
Need
can
more,
I,
just ask for more. It was sufficient for the planning commission, so I'm not here to do that job.
I don't think he's saying, I think he's saying previously, and I said that previously as well, and I think we got into a meeting and we were trying to kind of get things through, and it was, just wasn't clear.
Where are you guys tonight?
I mean,
Hope there's enough.
I can tell you where I am, but Ryan, why don't you finish?
No, like all we're really doing is, I think it's,
I tried to stuff this with as much information as I
yeah,
could.
yeah, yeah.
So you could see everything. In fact, Therese even caught that the
Well,
landscaping plan wasn't in there.
I mean,
Stuff that in there.
I really appreciate it, and I think, you know, maybe this goes a little above what we need, but I really think we actually end up doing applicants a disservice when we come in, when we don't, you know,
I'd rather
come in
give
with
them
enough
paper
information to give them a definitive answer on the spot, because that's what they want. I mean, this is, you know, you come into the council and you want like Judge Judy there deciding your case on the spot, you know?
So here's my thing, and I don't think you're trying to do this, and I'm using this as just an example, because I'm okay, like, to be honest, I'm okay with this variance. I'm gonna vote to pass it, but it's fine. What I worry about, though, is in a situation like this, that someone has a garage and a house, they're saying, oh, we're just gonna replace this. Now they're gonna connect it, and now they're grandfathered in to be able to make a two-story garage.
Well, that doesn't do this. and-
I know, but that's my worry in an instance, there could be an instance similar to this where that did happen. So that's why I'm saying, like, when we're initially granting these variances, we almost need, I need to know, like, and I don't think you knew this at the time, like, how tall you're gonna build your garage, kind of thing. And so I just think for the initial submission, there needs to be a little more, I need to be able to see the house. I need to see what
Agreed, agreed.
So from my perspective, having done so many additions and remodels on our house over the last 30 years, sometimes you don't know that you have to make a change until you're into it. I mean, that's just it. My guess is that might have happened here. But the other thing, and I've said this before, the planning commission has been all over this. If they come with their recommendation and we're saying, I don't know, then what's the point of the planning commission?
Well, I guess what I've seen with the planning commission and what happened with the last time on this was it was presented to them. They asked about the variance that got questioned at the last meeting, the one I questioned, and the response was, oh, that's just needed, you shouldn't worry about it. Like, they questioned it, and staff didn't explain it, they just said, oh, that's needed, and just pushed it through without, the planning commission isn't in a position and isn't comfortable. Now, what I will also say is the planning commission has had several meetings, including, I think, on this one, with city staff, and basically raised these issues that variances are coming into them woefully incomplete, and they try to push them through anyway, because they don't want to inconvenience applicants. And
But
so,
this isn't an incomplete.
this one in front of us right now?
No, this is a
No,
thing
no,
on
not
beauty.
saying that,
Yep,
no,
no.
but like, but in the past, that's the case, and I don't think Ryan is necessarily saying it's incomplete what's in front of us either.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I almost want to see this as the initial submission. Like, it would have been really nice, and I get it, you didn't have it there, that's fine. But it's.
We just
it's-
weren't that smart.
And like, and I understand, but.
You did a good job for somebody who's the wrong kind of engineer.
Thank you.
What's that?
You said that last time, I didn't bring up, that's not just,
Engineer envy.
Yeah. I just know that, like, I get it, plans change, sometimes you don't know when you're entering one of these projects, but it's like, you know you're gonna build some sort of house there. I mean, if it's just like, here's the house and here's how tall it is, kind of thing. Just a little, and this is perfect, I like this, I'm just saying, for initial, like, submissions, especially when coming back to this, like, I have no reference point of what we initially passed as far as, how that looked
The
and
original
what this looked.
plans
Yes,
versus
and what this looks like,
yeah.
you know?
And I didn't really want to clog the packet with everything that was in the previous
No,
variance
I get it.
discussion
I get it.
because, well, two reasons. First of all, it doesn't matter. This is a brand-new application.
Sure.
So it's easiest just to think about this as he wants a garage, and he wants to attach it to his house that he's building.
Yep.
And so it's better to think about it that way, especially instead of thinking, well, gee, what are we trying to do that we didn't get away with or whatever the
Yeah.
first time around? Because that's certainly not what Joe's doing, and he can
No.
explain the rationale
No.
for this.
I guess this isn't,
Which variance does this take away from before? Because I assume that the previous garage that we had approved,
Pretty much the same garage.
okay, so that, well, did it change the size or anything? Because apparently the memo was commenting how it became taller.
Yes, but the physical footprint and its location on the lot is identical.
So the attaching of the garage to the house allows the house height code, the attached structure height code to apply to the garage. And so, and to me, in this case, that's sort of justifiable by building, how long is this? It doesn't, when I walk by it, it looks like it's 8-10 feet. You know, I don't think you'd necessarily, it might be a bigger issue if somebody were building a 30-foot awning to attach a house
Oh,
to a
yeah,
garage.
it's only, yeah, it's about 8.
But this is fairly, like, it seems to me like, I guess what I'm arguing here is that this seems to be fairly within the intent of the code. It's, you know, you're doing what you do and you're saying, I need to get this out of the code, this is the requirement, so I'm gonna go through that, I don't wanna use the word loophole, but close enough, so,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
to get there, right? So,
Right. You know, and when we, you know, agreed to all this in the first place with the variances, you know, we were pushing the garage away from the right-of-way as much as we could at the time. And, you know, it's like, okay, it's now 10.5 feet from the house, and of course, saying it's 10.5 feet from the house and then standing there and seeing it 10.5 feet from the house, it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, and then we got the breezeway idea and then attaching it, and, you know, then it helped us as well, as Ryan pointed out, you know, with a little bit of the height, because we wanted to build a loft in the garage for some exercise equipment and for storage. And so this all kind of dovetailed together in a way, and I realized that when we talked with the planning commission, we agreed to a smaller garage height than what otherwise would be allowable with an attached garage.
This time or last time?
Just this last time.
This last time?
Yeah, so we pushed the height of the garage down as we were having this discussion. And, you know, it's just a way to, I think it's, originally it was 6 feet below the peak of the house. And now I think it's more than 7 feet below the peak of the house. But anyway.
I have a couple questions on a slightly different subject. When other people are kind of done, did you get, you and
yeah,
Kathy and
I would
Bridget
say,
get what you
in
needed here?
my feedback is more for our process regarding this than this actual variance. So that's kind of
We
where I
need
was.
to address the various questions from this memo regarding the trees and things like that. I feel like
To me,
don't need to.
the planning commission addressed that, and I feel like we shouldn't as part of, except as if somebody wants to file an appeal, that would be the process. It sounded to me, and what I read in the memo was that the neighbors were kind of okay with the outcome there.
They liked the outcome
So-
because silver maples were being removed.
Yeah, I don't think we should address it personally.
No, I don't either.
That's really for the next phase of this anyway.
And to me, it sounded like they came to the planning commission meeting, the neighbors there, they had a discussion.
Yes.
They were placated, and you guys all went out to dinner, and it was okay.
Okay, then. I wasn't sure if we needed to address it since it was brought up as concerns, so.
And we invited that, so that's what the
Okay.
invitation asks, and it was one
So
of
the
more
dinner was for?
complete,
Well, okay, so I have a couple questions here, on a little different subject. When a variance is granted, there have to be, and I guess let me kind of preface this. This looks sort of reasonable. I think I'm supportive of this variance. You know, I just want to ask a couple questions here. And one of the standards that we have to meet, there's a bunch of standards when you grant a variance. It has to be reasonable, there has to be practical difficulty, you know, a handful more. One of the things that has to be met is that, it's kind of worded funny in statute, it's the plight of the landowner can't have been caused by the landowner. Is that something like that, Alan? I don't remember, but that's kind of it. And so
Can you explain that? You just said a bunch of
basically-
words, I have no idea what they mean.
the plight of the landowner can't have been caused by the landowner, and what it means is that you can't come in for a variance because you caused the need for the variance yourself. And so if what you do is you go and
Build an overly large thing.
build something, or you do a bunch of landscaping, and as a result of the landscaping, you need to reduce your setback somewhere else, for example. That seems like a reasonable example. And so we asked the planning commission to kind of go through and answer all those questions. And there's a couple cases here. They like to spend a lot of time on the questions, and that's great. But in this case, it looks like they answered, if you look at page 19 in your packet, under the question, were the special conditions or circumstances created by the applicant's action or design solution? And that's this question. It says, yes, the special conditions were created by the applicant's attempt to maximize the roadway setback. I would just state that let's revise that a little bit, because I think the intent here is to say special conditions were not created by the applicant. In fact, the special conditions and need for the variance was reduced by the attempt to maximize the roadway setback and the other stuff in there. Is that so? Just to kind of, I don't think this variance is likely contentious, but I like to make sure those questions are answered just as a matter of doing those correctly. Then, anybody have any issue with that? You're smiling, Alan. Like, this is
Written that down, or is that organic Hankins off of the cuff?
that was organic Hankins off the cuff. Do you want me to?
If you're suggesting that as edits, we'll have to be surgical and I'll have to insert them.
I don't know if we need to edit it. I mean, to me, if this gets into litigation, somebody will go back and watch the meeting and hear me state that.
Well, I'd
So,
like to correct.
we can correct it, yeah.
As long as you can remember what you said, unless you want me to take it down verbatim.
No, I can, how about I just email it to you afterward, pretty much what I said?
Yeah, 'cause
We are
I-
recording.
I
Okay.
digitized the
Yeah,
packet for
but
everyone in
still.
PDF, and I can certainly pull up the PDF editor and add it, but right now I'm following along from what you're talking about on paper.
I can,
Just pen
I
it,
can send you, I'll just send you a summary
okay.
in the morning when I'm more pleasant.
I understand where you want it to go, but
Yeah.
if everyone's comfortable on the council with that surgical amendment to the finding,
I have another one too,
the first
How
of
big is
two.
this garage?
the first of two. So the second one
Cars
is
or vehicles?
were the special conditions or, so I won't read the question again, and this one says, this is relating to the impervious surface variance. And this says, yes, the special conditions were created by the applicant's creation of impervious surfaces on the lot, and this one is a little harder to deal with. I think the reason we should give, in this case, to approve the variance for why the special conditions were not created by the applicant is because the applicant was not aware of does anybody have a better reason for why the impervious surface wasn't created by the applicant than I do? I guess what I was gonna say was that the applicant's height was not corrected by the city at the time of variance application, at the time of the previous variance application. As a result, do you have a reason we can put in there that's better, Alan?
Which one are we looking?
I'm looking at page 21 in the packet.
That's under number 3 there.
Number 3, where the special conditions or circumstances created, I guess conditions created by the applicant's action or design solution.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
That by pushing the garage 16 feet away from the right-of-way, it created, a difficult passageway between the house and the garage. And what facilitated that, the solution to that required, a small additional increase in impervious.
Which
is a little more intellectually honest than, I don't like to tie this variance to something that's no longer in front of us, right? So, I mean, the previous variance, just pretend that didn't exist.
I'm fine with whatever Alan, I'm happy to let you be a lawyer and make us a recommendation. It just seems to me like it would be good to give a reason here why this is not. Can you help us a little bit? Or we can also revisit this too. We don't have to give the conditions tonight if we want to come in a month and just ratify that or something.
But here's the thing, anytime you go over the impervious surface, the homeowner is creating that because they're asking for something larger, correct, Alan?
In some cases, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
what you
it's
need the variance
also
for.
in the purview of the council to approve something above the 30%.
I believe they're mitigating with other uses, so I almost don't want to change this because this is their minutes from the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we
Not-
can't really change that, but we can change what we put out.
We put
You
in.
know, we're ratifying it with amendments, basically. That's how I've got it teed up. And Marcus might remember the exact numbers, and maybe Joe does. Because this, you're right, it's a little vague, right? But for all of these guys, variances, you can kind of go one way or the other, right?
I just want to
You can always find faults with these.
I'm not trying to find a fault. I'm trying to put in the right answer so that when somebody says, did you follow the legal criteria? We say, yes, we did. And so if you're willing to advise me, also, Alan, you could just advise me on what to do here. Should I just vote for it or should I revise it a little bit?
I can't do that, so.
Well,
Doing is having a discussion, and I think you've heard a pretty cogent argument as
Okay.
to why the impervious is what it is.
can we accept
So-
that? Can we accept what Joe just said and revise it based on that?
So.
Let's do
I mean,
that
if that's
then.
what you like, and I mean, we got Marcus here who can talk about the impervious itself, right?
I just want to approve the variance and have it be defensible. That's all I want.
To me, I think if you zoom back out and look at the intent of what Joe's doing here, the Golodowitzes, they're taking basically a garage that was right at the apron of your public street and pushing it back, right? And so it's a cost-benefit analysis. It's not unlike the Reese's with their deck that was
Okay.
in the lake, right?
Yeah.
Totally different situation.
Yeah.
But for the modest increase in impervious, I think is maybe what we're talking about. What is it, 1% or 2%?
0.7 tenths of a percent.
So it's less than 1?
That's not like it's nearly de minimis. I just want to tell me what to do, Alan. Just make me a recommendation on how I make sure that and I don't think we're going to get into a battle on this one, but I do like to just treat everybody the same and make sure we're.
And is everyone aware of what the planning commission actually put in their findings? Is everyone on that page to see that?
Page 21?
21.
Oh, yes, the
yeah.
special conditions were created by the applicant's creation of impervious surfaces on the lot and the properties proximately to the shoreline of White Bear Lake. City code requires, et cetera, et cetera.
So what if we do this? What if we say the special conditions exist not because the applicant created impervious surface, but because the lot is small and because it's difficult to build, it's among the smallest lots in Birchwood, it's difficult to build on that lot without a minor adjustment to impervious surface.
And with the intent to pull a garage that was at the
And-
city's right-of-way back,
And
how many feet? 30?
We moved it back to, we moved it away 16 feet.
16, that was it, yeah, so,
And
Pretty fair trade-off.
the
It's a lot safer.
Yeah, it's a net positive for
and
Birchwood.
the movement of the garage toward the property tends to bring the property into general compliance with the code. Or move it toward
Definitely much
compliance. Yeah, all right, let's just get something that's kind of defensible and good enough, and I don't hear a lot of no's, and vote on it and move on.
Agree.
So do we just, this resolution here, Alan, is this what we're voting on?
If we are,
and yeah, sorry about that, when we started talking about this. When I was on the phone with your planner earlier, I always have felt uncomfortable, I guess, that there's really no document for you guys to actually look at.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And so,
We used to.
I don't know when that stopped, but I decided to take a swing at a resolution. And all it's really doing is in writing saying what we're doing tonight, which is that
Oh,
a lot of what's came in here, basically with a variance in hand that they had.
Yeah.
And they've changed their design, so they've applied for a new one. And the planning commission has reviewed it and made findings of fact and recommended the passage of them. And now you've reviewed those and are ratifying those findings of fact and approved the granting of the variances. So that's all that resolution says.
do we need to revoke the previous one to replace it with this one?
No,
Or
I'd
that
say
one
by
just
definition,
automatically
they're
goes?
scratched because of the new application.
Because it's not technically the same structure-ish.
Right.
Okay.
And which is why we're here. If it was easy enough to just go X and say, okay, they're good enough for that, but
And-
I'd rather have a better record for the city than just saying, well, this is not quite what you did, so, but it's still.
I've thought this for a long time that we needed to do this, so I don't know if we have page numbers this month and a resolution.
Pretty impressive.
Well, I didn't get to enumerate that because I just did it. But you have page numbers on your packet, yes.
Yeah.
Page numbers and a resolution.
And then on the resolution, it just says there's conditions that the planning commission added, and it just says conditions on the build. Is that just kind of adopt by reference that seems fine to me.
Yeah, edit that as you like. I finished it like 2 hours ago, so.
Okay. And that's the adjustment to the
Why'd you
height.
open that door?
And what were the other conditions that they had? Do we want to record that into the record?
You don't need to do, I mean, Joe can tell you what they did, but that's why we're adopting, that's why it's in the packet.
Yep.
All those conditions.
Okay.
So you would reference the conditions based on the resolution.
Gotcha.
And I'm doing this, Ryan, I guess, would be the most important person to run this by. So I'm still in 3. And so what I've written here, and I'm not changing anything, because I think it's relevant to say that the minutes and what they decided are relevant. And they did say that, yes, Joe created this situation with the impervious, but I have a magic but at the end. And so we're finding can be consistent with the statute. But the applicant's lot is small, and the design actually pulled the existing garage back from the city's existing right-of-way 16 feet.
That's
From
fine.
Previous garage location, 16 feet? Did it come back 16 feet from its original location, I think is what it was, right?
Pulled it back 16 feet.
No, nobody's gonna question, it's very unlikely to get questioned if we went through and reasoned through it like we just did, so.
Right, and it makes sense, and hopefully it gives you guys some, gives Joe some, this is why I did this, right?
Okay, I move to approve Resolution 2605, ratifying and adopting the findings of the Planning Commission and approving the variance as indicated for 131 Wildwood.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, guys.
And that resets the clock on him for handling variance, because that other variance doesn't apply anymore, right? So the time he has to actually do the build, right?
He had 2 years from when it
He
was
has-
granted.
yeah, it's at least a year.
I don't think he's even close to running up against the deadline.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, it takes away previous one, but gives him the 2 years
He
again.
would
I know
have
how
two
building
years
Our
works.
clock
from
technically
now.
starts on these new variances tomorrow, yes.
Perfect, there you go.
Welcome to Birchwood.
Thank you, and I just want to say, I mean, I'm so excited to be here. Everybody has been great in the neighborhood. And I know we've been very disruptive, so I want to apologize, for all of that. But it's coming along well, and technically, the house will be finished end of April.
Congrats.
And that's when we would then start on the garage, after the freeze, road freeze warnings come off, we'd probably start on that. So thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, and fun fact, I was helping an elderly neighbor at my house and had to go to the doctor. And so because I became responsible for said elderly neighbor to get them home and had to go over the care plan and whatnot, I had to talk to the attending physician. And super nice kid, very caring and kind, and his name was Dr. Gladowitz. And so, of course, I said, any chance? And sure enough, that would be Joe's son, who works in medicine. So, runs in the family.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so that was E, and then we wanted to discuss the treasurer report, which was D. And we have Marcia here to help. Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus.
Go through that. You need a break quick? Oh.
Since I never leave.
All right.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, I believe, starts on page 8, I think it looks like.
Yeah, and this otherwise wouldn't be controversial, guys. I did ask Marcia to stay because we've been trying to get her for a couple of months to do some explanations on the budget, so she's agreed to come in and help sort it all out.
Excellent.
Otherwise, it's just another,
Not coming last month, was a lot of snow and
Yep.
There was a lot of snow.
We didn't want to come either.
I was kind of starting to freak out. So essentially, the small overview is, the budget the budget and the financial statements are in front of you. This was a format that was, asked of me to make by Scott Hildebrandt. So if this isn't a format that's appeasing to your eyes, I have no problem changing it to what's easier to read. But did you guys want to start with some questions?
Where did we end up for the year? So my issue, Marcia, is I can't tell if we did a good job on our budget. I can't tell if we met budget, if we overspent, if we underspent. And I can't tell sort of what the run rate is during the year. So I don't know to be worried about the budget or not. It's a puzzle to me.
So, on the disbursement side, we ended up, under budget. We had spent $644,683 year-to-date in the general fund. If you get rid of the lift station, the lift station, that would bring, our budget to $811,026. So we did come in under budget on those expenses.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow. Can you just give me a 1,000-level statement of what we spent and what our budget was?
Sure. So in the general fund, we spent $644,000.
Spent 644, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you take away the $600,000 for the lift station,
Yeah.
that would bring our general fund budgeted expenses to $811,000.
So we budgeted 150,000 more than we spent
We did.
in,
In
okay.
20.
So does that mean we're taxing and feeing higher than we necessarily need to be?
No, not necessarily. Like, I think, we went a long time without an administrator. So we
Okay.
had like,
Oh, yeah, we had some things that were budgeted.
Yeah,
that
all
didn't-
right,
okay.
so fine. I guess I
So
just,
We're not overtaxing.
If we were 150 to the good, what happens to that 150? Does it roll over into 2026?
yeah, it will be in our fund balances for 2026 to spend if we overspend in that year. Now that we've already put in for 2026, we can't really write the budget down by that 150.
I feel a little bit better about the snowplow thing in the event that we end up hitting that 30 inches. We're pretty close.
We're hitting it.
Yeah, so we should be okay.
Well, and this year we went quite a bit over in snow plowing,
I know.
so.
Well, that's why I
probably
was
do it again.
concerned that we might be close to our max.
is,
And part of it too is if you look at our street and road maintenance line, we budgeted $100,000 for that. And we spent $10,670. So I think that was we talked about kind of trying to build it up just a little bit every year. So that was kind of built into that 100,000.
And this is just my rudimentary accounting knowledge from college and the 2 classes I took.
which is 2 more than I took.
Actually, I have a finance degree, but I almost need like the big line items. You know what I mean? Like our staff is like one line item. Our general expenses like electricity or accounts payable, essentially. Like those type of things. And then what's coming out, like what we have budgeted and then what's coming out of those individual funds or account. And in my head, all I see is T accounts too. Like I need the T accounts.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about one of those in years,
I need the debits to equal the credits. You know what I mean?
right?
So it's like almost like that where I have like the accounts payable and this is what we're paying every month and because I with Bridget, it's like hard for me to follow exactly where we're at.
Well, in addition to this, would it be nice to have like a memo that comes out with it that says, these are the places we really went over budget,
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
very much so.
kind of the anomalies, just
Right, because if we had known that we would be that much in the green, we might have made different decisions.
Sure.
Or we might have acted more aggressively on some things, like trees or, name it. And that's my point about, I just sort of feel like we're blind, and if we had a better handle on this, I think we could be making better decisions for the city.
So are you okay, Bridget, of like having some of these like lumped together as like things?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, absolutely.
And I'm trying to, and I can't think of the financial statement like businesses use that kind of has that information in it. Is it the balance sheet?
Well, it sounds like what you want is something of a shareholder point of view, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Prospectus.
Bar graph or a
Yes.
pie chart, something that says, here's where you should be.
Yeah.
A quarter of the way through the year.
Yes,
Where have we spent, where have we overspent?
yes,
Yep.
But I agree with you. I mean, when we're all stressing about what we're gonna pay for snow and wondering how we're gonna sharpen the pencil, it would have changed things a lot in the discussion.
It would have changed things a
There's an
lot.
extra, 50 grand there that we
Yes.
covered it. I agree.
right.
That's the frustration, right?
Sure.
When they think that they've gotta be parsimonious, cause it's now October, November, and we've gotta start paying snow in November and December, so I
Yeah.
don't think we have any money left.
Right. So would you like something like that maybe on a quarterly basis?
I feel like Bridget and I are the ones that are like, I have trouble with this. Can we set up a time just to come hang out with you to like figure this out?
Absolutely.
I think there was do you need another review of your book? Because that was super helpful when I had done that. Did you?
There was, well, technically, our internal controls says every 6 months, we're supposed to send in
so we're
council
probably due for
members, and
one
I
shortly.
think, I don't think we've done one in a lot more than 6 months, I mean,
Margaret did the last one.
yeah,
So
and
we
then,
Yeah, it
have
was you,
not.
Margaret, and myself, I
I don't
think.
know. What are you talking about, dude?
So every 6 months, we're supposed to have a member of the council,
2 members.
2 members of the council. So it was myself and Margaret last time that Didn't you do one with me too?
I did one at one point, and
Okay.
it was actually pretty interesting
Yeah,
just
so
to,
it was a walking through the, it's a binder, and it was flipping through and going through the, here's what this is, and this is all the debits, and this is all the expenses.
That's great, but still, I
But
think
yeah,
we
no,
need
I
a
would like that.
forecasting
Yeah, yeah.
mechanism.
So Bridget and I are gonna do that with you, and
Okay.
also we'll figure out the forecasting, how we want that laid out.
Yeah,
Is that
that would
okay,
be
Bridget? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if we
Sorry,
have some
voluntold
extra
you to do
money,
it,
No,
but-
I'm fine with that.
potentially look at a little bit more road.
I,
And I believe that was kind of what the
That was
thought
the
process
plan,
with
I
the
remember.
100,000.
Yeah, because we thought, well, we were gonna do the 80, but then when we had the change for they're not gutters, the trenches that got dug, the amount was almost to the 100, so I was like, well, we got rid of that 20,000, so I guess I didn't.
I just used to, in business, every month, you knew where you stood. You knew where your issues were, you knew where your overspend, your underspend, and you had a forecast actually based on that month to what you were gonna hit at the end of the year.
I
So,
I
I
guess,
don't know if we can be that precise, but boy, that would be nice to move in that
We
direction.
can get pretty close.
can I,
Yeah, well, a lot of what you do is contracts, and so they should be very predictable.
Yes, and so the money should be put in the month, yes, that it's gonna be spent.
And then the bigger target for a lot of that because they're annual contracts,
Yes,
right? Law enforcement, fire, to a certain extent personnel, all those are predictable expenses monthly.
right.
So you've got some lawn care, you've got some overruns on projects, and snow are some of your big variables. But if you
Yep.
don't know where you're at in October, it's gonna be pretty tough to choose what you're gonna do for the next 4 months.
Right,
Yeah, I don't know, like,
exactly.
if we were able to simplify this enough, I think it might be something we put on the website too, so that
Absolutely,
the
so people
residents-
could see it,
residents can see.
right.
what
I
Can-
agree with that.
Right.
Yep. So another question on the general funds receipts. So year-to-date, we're not anywhere close to our budget.
And that is because of the fact that the state grants and aid, that's the lift station stuff. We stuck it in here so it wasn't in and out in the general fund, but when the money actually came in, it went into the capital projects fund.
So if we could find a way to segregate those and not have them
Muddying up the water.
right, because it's very muddy when, I mean, you know the internal
Right.
ins and outs, but your regular person like me doesn't. So if we could find a way to segregate those, still track them, obviously, but
Yep.
that would be really good too.
I mean, I will just say, I don't need to be part of a discussion on this, but I also would like to, I trust you guys to come up with something that's generally understandable, but I also would really appreciate that, so, because I look at this stuff, I have a question too, if I can.
Of course.
Nope.
I just don't like to change the subject when people are still talking about the old
I
subject.
think I'm
Yeah,
good,
we're
you're
good.
good, Bridget.
Yep,
Okay. I had asked you a year or so ago, I said we have X dollars in the bank, and I think it was, I don't know, and I said, is there a benchmark for reserves we should have, and how are we in relationship to that benchmark? And you said we should have roughly 18 months of reserves, and you said we were approximately at that benchmark. Do I remember that right?
Yes.
Okay, and I was just wondering if you obviously know the follow-up here, is you could give me a little update on where we're at this point on that.
To be honest with you,
If you don't know, maybe we just get a follow-up, but,
yeah, I can figure that out.
yeah, I don't need to,
Send you an
I would just, yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I do kind of, that's an interesting point, I'd appreciate it, so, okay.
And I think it's, like they want the current year expenses, but then also like another 6 months, just because of the way that taxes come in, they come in twice a year. And you have to,
Yep.
well, your expenses for 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I understand that but that's also why you have a,
I assume we include the additional administrative people and everyone in that cushion, right?
Yes.
and, in January or February, you probably don't have them yet, but we should be seeing annual financial statements for the city.
Yes, they have, we are just going through and closing out 25
It's, I
still.
assume it's not done,
It's not quite done yet.
quite done yet. It's still pretty early, but yeah, okay. That's always.
Yeah,
kind
it's,
of
I
a-
think it's usually due to the state auditor by March 1st.
Yeah, okay.
So you'll see it in March.
Did we do those last year?
We did, I probably just didn't know enough to bring them to you,
Yeah,
so that you guys
okay.
could look at them.
What were our court fines?
Those are, they come from the Minnesota Management and Budget, and so they take like all of the road traffic tickets and stuff, and they,
Oh, so that's all the stop sign tickets? Oh,
But yeah, it's an amalgamation of basically HP, county, whoever's issuing the citations, whether I process them and take care of it through the court, or if someone just walks in and pays, you know, and it's tiny, it's like 20% of the actual face value of the ticket.
okay.
So, but that's what comes back to the jurisdiction that, the offense within.
Something occurred to me that we had wanted to budget for, that we had held out on last year or the year before, I don't remember which. Mr. Hankins had wanted us to do an audit. Since we have extra funds, is that something we could bump up in our?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate
You really
that.
wanted it,
I would like to
we had
do an
tried for
audit.
budgeting for 3 years, but. So can we do that now? Because we
That's
haven't
not a
had
bad
one.
idea.
I think it was it 15,000? I don't remember what it was.
usually
It
somewhere
would be something like that, yep.
16 and 18-ish.
Yeah.
And then
I,
Yeah, that's what we were, I think we were doing like 5-ish, 1,000.
exactly.
Yeah,
I think
so if
could
we
just
can
use this as a
move
starting
some of that fund to do that sooner.
And in which case, we wouldn't have to submit the financial statements to the state auditor
Send you a copy.
It'd be under audit.
because we'd be under audit, so we would have until June
Okay.
to submit them to the
Is-
state auditor.
Is that
Is
a
the-
very painful, sorry.
I guess I guess I'll just go ahead. Is there anything we should be doing to prepare for an audit? Or just call them in? I mean,
Technically, you normally would just call them in.
okay,
Right now, we're still kind of going through the aftermath of the fraud protection setup
yeah,
going on.
okay.
So there are a lot of fees flying in different directions that we're still trying to sort out.
Would that be something we'd want to maybe plan for later in the year because of that?
It would be really helpful. I just got notification today from Para that our bank has rejected a September payment. So, yeah, we thought it went through and it apparently did not.
Can we turn the fraud thing off?
It's off.
Is now.
It's off, but now they have started charging us like $50 a month for evolve charges, so we've got to call and get that taken out too.
I
So
saw that in there, yeah.
there's a whole lot of residual going on from that yet.
So I would say that this has been an unmitigated disaster with the fraud protection, and it seems like this vendor has been very difficult to work with. When do we have the discussion of changing vendors?
I had it in the office last week, saying basically, we've got to find a better mousetrap. Period. I just can't believe that this is reality, so
Yeah.
we're working on it, right? Same thing with the audit. I've worked with ABDO, which is a group that does them for small cities, and so is Marcia, so that's who I'll be reaching out to get a quote for us. So, but we do have to solve some of these problems, otherwise the auditors are just gonna flag that stuff and say what's going on. So
Well,
it's
and we
best to
don't
get
wanna-
it sorted out.
we don't want to be written up in the paper for this.
Well, not, I was gonna
Disaster.
say not for that, yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, we
might
have
want
been in
another
the past.
Sort of year of getting everything.
I just mean to
Tamped down.
add to the budget for the planning of doing that, as far as like, I think it was 15,000 when you originally were looking at it, so we were like $5,000 per year would get us every 3 years or whatever it was, but if we can bump it up to
Yeah, that makes
next
sense.
calendar.
I don't think we should do it next year,
Needs to be
or
every-
2026.
I don't know that it needs to be
Or
every
2027.
3 years. 5
2027,
would
fine.
seem sufficient, but
It's been a long time.
It's been, 2010 was the last year we had
So it's been
audited.
a while.
Yeah.
So it's.
No, we
not-
need to do it, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't think 2026 is the year.
That's fine. I mean,
So-
if we can get the,
Why wouldn't we do 2026?
Because I still think this is sort of a young administration. We're
we're
making
going,
some
she's
new
going
stuff.
out as well though, and so are we, as far as there's another voting cycle. So I don't think our city ever has a old administration, because it's every 2 years we change it.
That's true.
Well, once we get this sorted out, the fraud business,
Yeah.
let's just. see
You're a
if those
veteran
look-
now.
And if they look all right overall, which I think they do, there's no reason to put it off either, 'cause it's been
Well,
15
okay,
years.
so I'm thinking about all of the boxes that need to be imaged. It just seems like there's work to be done to sort of
Get ready.
get ready. And there's a backlog of stuff that we haven't been doing, is my understanding. So.
Well, because we don't have an administrator that's.
Yeah,
We do
right,
now.
right, we do now, but I'm just saying, let 2026 be the year that we clean everything up, and then we audit in 27.
We'll see how it goes, but if we're not ready, we're not gonna come back to you guys and say, let's do it, so, bottom line,
Because we want a good audit.
absolutely.
We want a clean one, for
Yeah,
sure.
we want a clean audit, man. I think we've got work to
And
do.
we're getting the money for it, so, I mean, the timing is not everything, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
But yeah, if we can move some of the budget to cover whatever that is, so we're able to,
so at least we have it in the bank, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and then it can't change. Be good.
Thank you, Marcia.
And do you
then we
wanna
should
see
have it
that
on the
as,
schedule.
should we see that as a
Nice.
recommendation to move that on the budget for 26 then?
Did we budget for it? I feel like we pulled some funds for it. I don't remember what we had done.
It was budgeted for,
For some,
for
For some, but
I
not a lot.
mean,
I don't know what's in that account now, but there should be enough to pull that over in what's left over in the personnel probably.
Yeah.
But I think you should vote on it and see what's happening, that's all.
Okay.
As a recommendation, so.
Yeah, if you can get a quote for how much it would be now-ish, then we can,
Oh, I just meant for purposes of the approved budget, we should probably just
Oh.
show that that's been
That's
slid
what we
from one
pulled.
pot to another pot and just vote on
Sure.
that.
Sure.
It's a very surgical change to the actual budget.
would you like to make that motion since I'm acting as mayor-ish?
Sure, I would move to adjust the budgets appropriately to support an audit.
ASAP,
ASAP, fine, okay.
'Cause I don't know what's in that budget right now. Do you have anything
Well, if we're gonna,
that surgical right now you can jump to?
you know, we have so much more money left over in the clerk and treasurer, why don't we just stick it in there?
All right, well, I'll get an
Well,
estimate
okay.
and we'll make sure the money's in there for at least what the snapshot estimate is now.
Okay.
Fair?
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
And Abdo doesn't generally increase that much year over year. They might be a little bit more because they haven't worked with us before, so the initial one might
Initial
be a
one,
little
yeah.
bit, but.
Because I don't think we've gotten a different invoice. We've used those guys in landfall for 10 years, something like that. So, yeah, it's always the same.
Well, do they have to go back to the last audit that they did, or that was done, so 2010?
Mhm.
Might be a
15
little
years is a
stale.
bit.
Probably won't, but they'll probably do some like random testing
Yeah.
from previous years.
Sure. Okay.
So so Ryan and I and Marcia, the three of us will sit down and we'll probably restructure the actual report. And then we also would need to change how we put expenses in so they aren't straight line, so they are in the months that are going to happen. Is that a big deal to do those two things?
There aren't a ton of them that are like that, so we should be okay doing that. I think St. Tassie handles that okay.
And what about restructuring the format?
The format's totally fine.
Okay,
It's
great,
just an Excel spreadsheet we can.
excellent.
This is just something
like-
Scott told her to do.
Okay,
We can do whatever.
okay.
Yeah, this is the
I
way
didn't know
Scott
it was
liked it.
running off
He-
a program, I didn't know.
No.
Okay,
I pull out of the program and put it into an Excel spreadsheet.
oh, great, excellent.
And then we'll do that. And what's the administrative function we have to complete?
Let's go through this high view,
It's a
High
like a
level review.
high-level financial review that's supposed to happen.
And then do we just sign something?
it's just another set of eyeballs, so it's just making
you
sure
just-
you guys are watching the baby.
Yeah, it's a big binder, and it has all of the seats.
You're supposed to be making sure the books balance. Well, I mean, and this was put in place because the books didn't balance for a while, and now I'm less worried at this point, but that's still
That's
in
the
our
function
internal
of it.
controls, so it would probably be wise to do it.
Yep.
And then tell me again, what's gonna happen with the 150 excess?
It will stay like in our funds, for use in next year.
But could we reallocate it to a line or a number of
Absolutely.
lines?
This
Yep.
is unallocated funds going into 26.
Okay,
So if we needed to have a road repair or extend that road repair to make it more cost-effective, because
Since
it's
our
bigger,
capital
slower,
improvement fund is 0,
it's good to put the money in there.
Bump that up.
we can maybe
Well,
bump
and
that.
that's what I was gonna say, cause I think the, capital improvement fund actually has a negative balance right now, so we could move some over there
The
to
negative balance.
bring it to 0.
We can fix
Do we
that.
wanna just ask you guys to next month put in recommend adjustments and just put them in next month, like a,
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting.
yeah, just a bullet of we're gonna move this and we're gonna move that, and then we'll just throw it in the consent agenda, and,
You'll see it.
yeah,
Okay.
that seems,
I put in the one for the audit, but we can make other
Seems-
adjustments like that to certainly get to 0 when we've got some negative balances.
Yes, please.
okay.
Well, and, we've got a decent balance in water, but a negative in sewer, so there's some room for improvement.
We'll make some recommendations.
That sounds great.
We'll make some recommendations.
Perfect.
thank
Well,
you. I like recommendations.
Ryan had made a motion to do the audit funds. Would someone like to second that?
Do we wanna
What
just?
I've done is I've added it to the overall motion approving the treasurer's.
Oh,
Let's do
okay.
that.
That's perfect.
So,
I didn't hear a motion. Did
I
you?
did, but I'll just withdraw it if it's,
And
why
adjust.
don't you
Well, I
guys,
just am combining them, so.
okay.
Do you wanna, are you, any other questions on the treasurer report?
No,
No,
Do you guys just wanna throw out some dates of when you wanna meet?
I gotta check with the boss, and then I can get back to you.
Yeah, we'll just do an email.
Doesn't have to
No.
be now, yeah.
no, my schedule's good, so whatever works for you guys.
The next, is any time next week good?
I actually have an audit in May Township next week, so
Oh.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I can't do.
Next week's looking good.
Yeah. Maybe the week after. I think,
That sounds great, the week after is perfect.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could bring back a different format at least to the February council.
We'll try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
And Alan, do you want to be a part of this at all?
I can be invited to the party, so
Okay.
I have other things going on, and so if we're trying to get 4 people in a room, it's usually easy when 3 agree.
This one?
So if I can, I'll be there, but I'm like a toddler with a flamethrower when it comes to this stuff, so it's best left to.
Sounds good.
Did we get a second on that?
Not yet.
Okay, good. I didn't miss that.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we finished our consent agenda.
You did.
All right, then we have announcements, which are in the packet.
Yeah, those are just very brief, your usual sheriff's newsletter. I just thought, as now I'm sitting here, if I see things that come across my transom that I think might be interesting, I'm just gonna dump them in here, not only for you, but for whoever at home sees these things. And the XL rate adjustment's been talked about for a while. They kind of teed it up over the summer. And then obviously last fall, they started talking in earnest. And so what you're seeing there is that adjustment now that it's kind of fully formed. And of course, Washington County sent something about a event about streetcars. And so it's just something fun to throw in there is something that they're up to, and obviously free events and something fun to take the kids to or someone else. So if that's too much and too silly, then tell me not to do it.
It's
like
fun
it.
to see.
Any other announcements, updates, et cetera, needed? I have one for the February council meeting, that I sent you a document from the Parks Association where they, the new, let's see, 2 of the members are up for
Renewal?
renewal. Both of them are interested in continuing that, so I would like that put before the council for,
Okay. Consent fine?
Hmm?
Consent
I
fine?
would think so, yeah.
Oh, and then Alan, I had sent you and Therese and Chris just a draft of a strategy for the website. So if you want to take a look at
Duly
that.
noted, yep.
Okay.
And if you want that to be on the agenda, we can.
Yes, if we, yeah, but I want to make, yes, but I want to make sure that you and Teresa and Chris are comfortable with it.
Yeah, I saw it, so
Okay.
we haven't had a chance to talk. but
Okay.
yeah, I got it. And he likes it. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
And then the last thing I wanted to say was thank you to the community club for the winter party we had, a couple weeks ago now at this point. It was a really fun event, and the musicians were really enjoyable. It was fun to visit with a bunch of neighbors, and just a nice party, so thank you for that.
Thank you for being a part of that.
Yeah, it was super fun. The cookies were delicious. Any other announcements, details, anything? Otherwise, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Meeting closed.